Live from the other side of the railroad tracks in Allihies, Ireland. It's your daily dose of suitcase-sized biz nugget. Wait, weren't they suitcase-sized yesterday?
Yeah, you didn't even edit.
What kind of what's going on here?
Who's the editor here?
Joined as always by encouraging Emma Lurking and memorable Matt Mascardi. I'm a half-eaten poppy seed bagel from your favorite Dunkin' in Swampscott, Mass.
My favorite place.
I love Swampscott.
Today, in our oblong diaper bag of nuggets called November 30th, 2021, Corporate Governance in Asia, ISS benchmarks, unionization efforts at Amazon, the UK is mad at Meta, and SpaceX concerns, all wrapped in one giant and juvenile, never-ending adult diaper joke.
Yes, my favorite kind of joke.
Great.
I apologize to everyone for today's content. Here's the first story. Adult diaper sales in China could exceed infant diaper sales by 2025, research suggests.
Who researched that?
The diaper market in China appears headed towards an inflection point.
Ooh, good buzzword.
By 2025, sales of adult diapers could exceed those of infant diapers because of the country's rapidly aging population and declining birth rate. Duh! The demographic shift means some diaper manufacturers are already refocusing their marketing to promote their products to older customers. Unicharm, one of the top sellers of diapers in China, appears to be one of them. Here, I like this part. Citing sources close to the company, the Financial Times reported that Unicharm is now devoting more of its marketing dollars to adult diapers than infant diapers.
I like that it was so secret.
A spokesperson for the company declined to comment. When asked why they couldn't comment, the spokesperson replied that they had to go to the bathroom. When told to put on their big boy adult diapers and give a comment, there must have been something wrong with the spokesperson's internet connection because the line went dead.
That's so awkward.
Unicharm, a Tokyo-listed diaper maker, is controlled by the Takahara family. CEO and chair Takahisa Takahara is the 6th richest person in Japan. The 4th richest person in Japan is Nobutada Saji, chairperson of beverage powerhouse Suntory Holdings. The opportunities for a partnership between a beverage and a diaper company are endless. I'm just saying. While we typically espouse diversity of age on corporate boards, Unicharm might have just broken our algorithm because all 6 directors are at least 60 years old and the average age is exactly 65.
Nailed it.
A corporate governance success story.
Nailed
Hey, Unicharm. MSCI might think your board sucks and is full of red flags, but we say you do you, Unicharm. Behind every successful adult diaper manufacturer lies a pack of haters. And mock if you must. But with the great 21st century space race war heating up between our favorite blowhard billionaires, there are only 2 safe investments left. Rocket manufacturers and adult diaper manufacturers for astronauts.
Can I just say this is the only place where you can get diaper governance content? It's the only place on the internet. There is no place else talking about this.
I don't know if we can associate a positive connotation with that, though. Like, that could go either way.
Incontinence is a win, no matter what.
Thank God we're bringing a social media person on soon to get this stuff out there. Thank God.
Incontinence and governance. ISS announced earlier this month updates to their, quote, benchmark policy. If you don't know who ISS is, they're the company that tells your pension fund how they should vote your retirement shares in the alternative democracy, because even in the alternative democracy, they're well-paid lobbyists. That's what there are. There are a lot of updates to their policies, most of which are boring, hedged, or obvious, but a tiny one caught my eye. ISS subtly updated its policy around board, gender, diversity. They currently state that ISS will generally vote against or withhold votes for the chair of the nominating committee at the companies where there are no women on the board. Okay? The policy applies to Russell 3000 and S&P 1500. ISS just adjusted it subtly to apply beyond those indexes starting in 2023. Damien, should we be celebrating?
Always.
It's time to celebrate, right? ISS coming out strong on gender diversity. You with me? You with me?
Yeah.
Well, here's some stats. These are the companies that have to be worried about this policy. There are 50 of the largest 2,300 U.S. firms have 0 women on the board. 50. Of those, 41 have nominating committees in the first place. So ISS's policy would apply. Of those, only 18 companies have boards with more than 6 people. ISS's policy to add one woman to a board applies to just 18 companies in 2022. 18.
Saving.
I
on
mean,
ink.
I guess to their credit, they looked at the board of Global Star, a satellite company, and noticed that 29% of the board has the name Jim. This is not a joke. That's a real thing. Rounded out by a diverse slate of other white dude names, respectively, Bill, Ben, Mike, Tim, and Keith. ISS probably decided when looking at that, in 2021, maybe doesn't seem right. Other policies worth mentioning here that are getting updated: a racial and ethnic diversity policy for the UK and Irish firms, of all things. A policy, Damien, you'll like this, on sunset provisions for dual-class shares starting in 2023. They are making it mandatory. Mandatory. And what ISS has said is they're going to vote against the entire board where they IPO and there's not a sunset provision and there's dual-class shares. You know what that means?
Okay.
They vote against the board that they don't have control over with no sunset provision. So congratulations, ISS, for coming in strong on that policy. If you have comments or questions you want to submit to ISS about these policies, you can do it. Ed Rivera of New York, who writes that his qualification here was he was a Harvard graduate in 1995. Not joking. This is a letter he submitted. Thinks that the ethnic and racial minority policies could be stronger. Ed, we stand in solidarity, baby. We agree with you at Free Float Media.
Amazon warehouse workers in Alabama will get another chance to vote to unionize. The National Labor Relations Board authorized a new union election at one of Amazon's Alabama warehouses. Amazon employees at the Bessemer, Alabama warehouse, known as BHM1, voted against joining the retail, wholesale, and department store union in April. The union successfully argued Amazon illegally interfered in the election, thus a new election date has yet to be announced. When reached for comment, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said he was involved in high-level and secretive talks with an Asian manufacturer called Unicharm that is working on a 21st century solution to the peeing in a bottle crisis that fomented the original union drive in the first place.
Wow, really doubling down on that adult diaper hot take.
Here's to you, world.
So, moving on from diapers, you're welcome. My story this
Not
week
over yet.
is about
Not over.
Meta, and before I get into it, I would like to preface that I have extremely mixed feelings about referring to Meta as Meta rather than Facebook. I sort of want to continue calling it Facebook in protest of its weak 11th hour attempt to protect their reputation by changing its name. So I'll do just that. Thank you. Facebook, not Meta, Facebook, is back in the news, and they actually have consequences for their actions. Yay! Good job! The UK's antitrust regulator just issued a ruling that will force Facebook to sell their recently acquired company, Giphy, due to anti-competitive practices. Before I continue, Matt, Damien, do you know what Giphy is? The company
I
Giphy, do you know what they do? Damien,
Yes.
I am
Make gifs.
deep into GIF-related anti-competitive behavior.
Okay, so I don't need to
Don't
explain
stop
what
age
gifts are
shaming
to
us.
you.
Keep going.
I just want to check in with the
Buzz.
like make sure
It
that
is an adult
you can
diaper
keep up.
episode. It's a fair question.
Facebook purchased Giphy in May of 2020 for $315 million, and they are now being required to sell this company to an approved buyer in its entirety. They cannot break up the company. They have to completely sell it. Regulators have finally followed through on formerly empty threats to break up Facebook. Is this the one case of antitrust regulation that has the potential to get the ball rolling on regulating the anti-competitive practices of other monopolizers?
Yeah.
Not to name any names, but if regulators are interested in my thoughts to who they should be looking at, might I suggest Apple, Microsoft, PayPal, Tesla, Walmart, Amazon, Disney, and Google.
Wow.
Anyway, Facebook still has options when it comes to this ruling by way of appeal, unfortunately. I almost want them to fight the decision, though. Hopefully watch the regulators Dikembe Mutombo the shit out of their appeal in spectacular fashion. But if they win their hypothetical
40
appeal...
years ago.
Poster.
I like my reference. Leave my reference alone. But if they win this hypothetical appeal, Giphy could disappear from platforms like iMessage, Twitter, Snapchat, and Slack, or those platforms would have to give Facebook user data in exchange for in-platform Giphy integration. The latter of those two outcomes would be so frightening, I can't possibly think about it anymore. So, Matt, please take over while I go throw up a little bit.
Yeah, it sounded gross. I'm gonna
Throw up in
make
your
you
diaper, I hope.
I hope you're. I know one person who's wearing a diaper today, and that's Twitter's new CEO. Super quick update on how the
Weird
stock
segue.
market is, in fact, incredibly racist.
Oh,
Twitter's now ex-Bitcoin yoga master and CEO Jack Dorsey stepping down. News that leaked out pre-market yesterday. The market reacted yesterday, as it does, with jubilation. Shares up 11% in early trading. By around 9:40 a.m., news leaked out that Parag Agrawal, Twitter's CTO, would step into the CEO role by unanimous board vote. The market's reaction to Parag? The stock had to be halted again to stop the precipitous fall, dropping more than 3% in a matter of minutes, once again proving no one likes brown people in charge.
No,
Thanks,
that's not
stock
true.
market.
Hey, racist, look at Microsoft and Alphabet. Everything's fine. And I give them a little
Did
bit
you
of
just
credit?
hate racists, that?
A little credit, Matt. Jack Dorsey stepped down immediately. There was no
good for him.
January. He was done. He's gone. Out. They already
He said,
changed
"Here's your
the
new
website.
CEO."
He's gone.
Congrats.
they scraped his name off of the wall.
And finally, Kimball Musk's brother tells SpaceX employees that Starship engine crisis is creating a risk of bankruptcy. Kimball Musk's brother described a dire situation with SpaceX development of Raptor rocket engines the day after Thanksgiving in a company-wide email. The Raptor production crisis is much worse than it seemed a few weeks ago, Musk wrote. Raptor engines power the company's Starship rocket, with Musk adding that SpaceX faces genuine risk of bankruptcy if we cannot achieve a Starship flight rate of at least once every 2 weeks next year. Starship is the massive next-generation rocket SpaceX is developing to launch cargo and people on missions to the moon and Mars. The company is testing prototypes at a facility in Texas and has flown multiple short test flights. But to move to orbital launches, the rocket prototypes will need as many as 39 Raptor engines each, necessitating a sharp ramp in engine production. The Raptor production crisis has already caused a domino effect in the stock market as shares of Unicharm, a Tokyo-listed diaper maker who outfits SpaceX astronauts, tumbled 15% overnight.
This actually lends some color to Elon Musk tweeting, "Orbit is hard," to Astra, who actually went into orbit. That's what we have for today, November 30th, 2021. Your daily dose of sweat-filled, socky, gross, stinky denim biz nuggets. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more Daily Nugs. Goodbye.